Hi friends, in my last audio series in sociology, I covered marriage. Marriage, its functions, its importance, why marriage is an institution, why marriage is considered as an institution. Now, in this lecture, I'll be discussing the types of marriage, the forms of marriage which are prevalent all over the world. The major part, major at a macro level and a macro level. Let us understand the marriage and its forms. Types of marriage. The two major forms which are prevalent, monogamy and polygamy. Monogamy, which is in Hindi, it is called Ek Vivah. Polygamy, which is Bahupatni or Bahupati Vivah. Let us understand what is monogamy. As per Hindu Marriage Act, Ek Vivah, this is only which is permitted. Let us understand monogamy in the world. Monogamy is that form of marriage in which at a given period of time, at a given point of time, one man has marital relationship with one woman, or one woman has marital relationship with one man. In the case of death of a spouse or one of the partner seek divorce from, then they can establish such relationship with other person. But at a given period of time, one cannot have two or more wives or two or more husbands. This one is one relationship which is most modern civilized way of living. It is accepted in the civilized world all over the world. It has more recognition, it has more acceptance in society. It has major benefits. It has a few disadvantages, that is the sociologists feel. However, it has more benefits. In the most of the societies, this kind of marriage is found and recognized. It should be noted that on a social and a societal basis, only about 20% of the societies are designated as strictly monogamous. That is, monogamous is the required form. Let us understand what are the benefits of monogamy. It is for better adjustment, greater intimacy, better socialization of children, better socially acceptance, happily family, equal status to women, equalitarian way of living, a joint decision. Both husband and wife spouse can take a joint decision. Interdependence. They are dependent on each other for each and every decision. Respect to old parents. Law in favor. That means law gives favor to those who are married, those who follow the monogamous form of family and monogamy. Economic interdependence and secured economic interest. There are certain disadvantages which sociologists feels: forced adjustment between the spouses, even they are not happy, even they are not compatible, but they are forced to live with each other unless there is a death of one or the divorce taking place. But in most of the Indian societies, if we take, divorce is still taken as a negative. Therefore, they are forced to do a lot of adjustment, and mostly women are doing these kind of adjustment. Monopoly, mostly the men has say in most of the family, so they have a monopoly. Childlessness, sometime the spouses, the couple remains out of the children, and they cannot produce the children, and they remain throughout childless. That is sometimes it is a negative aspect of a monogamy. Economic factors, chances of growth is limited because one is working and other is not working, taking care of home. So they live in middle class or lower middle class, or sometimes they are deprived some of the social needs, some of the economic needs, financial needs what they are having. Adulteration, sometimes they go for out of the marriage physical relationship, and that is sometimes this is a disadvantage. What is polygamy? Polygamy, Bahupatni or Bahupati Vivah, this is in Hindi. Distinguished from monogamy is polygamy. Polygamy refer to marriage of several or many. Polygamy is the form of marriage in which one man marries to two or more women, or one woman marries two or more men, or a number of men can marry to number of women. According to F.N. Balsara, this form of the marriage in which this is a plurality of partners is called polygamy. What he says? The forms of marriage in which there is a plurality of partners is called polygamy. Further, there are differentiation, and further there is a classification of marriages. Let us understand. Polygamy, बहुपत्नी और बहुपत्नी विवाह. Polygyny, बहुपत्नी विवाह, means a person. What is polygyny? Polygyny is a form of marriage in which a man has more than one wife at a time. In other words, it is a form of marriage in which one man marries more than one woman at a given time. It is the prevalent form of the marriage among the tribes, among the Indian tribes as well as outside. Polygamy also appears to be privilege of wealthy people. Wealthy people used to be in earlier days as well. Those who were wealthy, they could afford number of wives, and they were having number of wives, and that was a status symbol. When they used to marry, when they used to have 3 or 4 or 10 wives. And also that time when a poor people could not marry to could not get a groom, they used to give their daughter to the person who were wealthy and who could afford number of wives. That was a prevalent practice. However, this kind of practice is still prevalent in the tribal areas. Polygamy further has sororal polygamy and non-sororal polygamy. What is this sororal and non-sororal? Let us understand. Polygamy may be of two types. As I said, sororal polygamy is one in which all wives are sisters, and non-sororal polygamy where the sisters are not necessary and they should not be sisters marrying to a person. What could be the reason of polygamy, which I am not going to discuss. However, I can list out, I can point out. Polygamy used to happen sometimes disproportion of sexes in the population, where the women are less or more. Sometimes these kind of things used to happen. And out migration of male, when male people, they used to go for work outside of out of the country, out of the state, out of the city, out of the villages to the urban areas, and then that time these kind of practices were prevalent. The remaining part of the male, they used to marry. If there is a one male or two male, the number of male members are reduced. They could marry to several women. That is how it is. Then let us move polyandry, bahupati vivah, fraternal polyandry and non-fraternal polyandry. What is fraternal polyandry and non-fraternal polyandry? When a person who has, in this form of marriage in which a woman has more than one husband at a given time, women has more husband at a given time. There is a one sociologist called Mr. Kapadia, K.M. Kapadia. What he says is a polyandry is a form of a union in which a woman has more than one husband at a time, or in which brothers share a wife or wives in common. Polyandry, which was prevalent in Mahabharata. If anybody could notice, if anybody could have heard, in Mahabharata, all Pandavas have one wife called Draupadi, and she used to be shared by. So the system is, the woman will live for a specific period with one husband, then a specific period for with the other husband, and so on. This kind of this form of the marriage in which women marries to several men, and these kind of things happens. Now, what is non-fraternal polyandry? What is non-fraternal polyandry? Non-fraternal, in this type of polyandry, one woman has more than one husband who are not brothers. That means it works on exogamy. They belong to different families, different kind of families. So different kind of men, they marry to a particular woman, particular kind of a woman in the village or in the urban areas or in the tribal areas. So there are other kind of, and the reason could be more. Reason could be more. Lesser number of women. This could be a reason. Matrilineal system where the women were leading the descendants. This could be. Poverty was another reason that this used to happen. Then a lady used to marry a few husbands, right? And bride price, where men have to pay for marrying a woman. She becomes wife for all brothers, and thus polyandry happens. Division of property could be other reason. To check the division of ancestral properties, polyandry is favored in many of the tribes, and there they follow these kind of system. However, Indian Act, in the Hindu Act, does not permit these kind of marriages, where all the brothers or all the brothers, all the sisters are marrying to one woman or one man. Polygamy or polyandry. But however, these are prevalent, these are being practiced in many of the tribal areas. And the other could be production of labor, production and the labor, because they need lot many people to work in the kind of a polygamy where Bahupatni Vivahs are in favor. Then men used to marry several women, and they used to work in the farms and at home and many places. That was one reason. And sometimes it is the social customs as well, because of the social custom which were in ages being practiced, and the polygamy and polyandry were in practice. There are many disadvantages and advantages as well. I do not want to discuss here the disadvantages and all that, because that is a big subject to discuss. However, we can cover in our next video or sometime later. There are other forms of marriage, hypergamy, where people used to marry to a wealthy man. The women used to marry a wealthy man. People, because of the price, or because of the poverty, the women used to get married to a wealthy person. So several women, they used to marry several women. That was the birth to the hypergamy. Exogamy, which I always said, out of the caste, out of the clan, people used to marry. Endogamy, which is within the caste, the permissible marriages. Then preferential marriage. What is preferential marriages? Preferential marriages means close cousin marriage. Close cousin marriage within distance cousin marriage and group marriages. Now all these kind of marriages, like group marriages, let me just consider, which I have not mentioned here. Group marriages are prevalent in Nilgiri Hills, Toda tribes. Also out of African countries like New Guinea, all that in African. These kind of marriages are, group marriages are permissible. They are doing that. Preferential marriages in Gonda Janjati, Madhya Pradesh, that is, or of Khasi, these kind of Janjati where preferential marriages are prevalent and they are being practiced. Parallel cousin marriage, that also comes under preferential. Parallel cousin marriage, preference given to cousins from father's side, and fathers like chachere and mamere, brothers and sisters kind of marriages. There are also kind of marriages which are prevalent, which is sali vivah. If the wife dies, then the man used to marry, a man marries to her sister, that is a sali vivah. Levirate marriage, devar bhavi vivah. In case a man dies, then the women, the widow who remains in the house, she marries to the younger brother of the person. These kind of marriages which are being practiced in different tribes in India, but however they are not many times in Hindu Marriage Act, they are not recognizable, they are not being recognized. There are certain marriages which are available and which are being practiced as a mother-in-law and son-in-law's marriage, just because of property. Marriage between grandfather and granddaughter, that is also in Gonda Janjati, that is being practiced. Mother-in-law and son-in-law in some of the society like Gara Janjati. So there are several kind of marriages which are being practiced. One can write in the exams and one can give marriage reason for different type of marriage in our system. I think we should cover. It's a large topic, huge topic. We'll be covering in later part of the video. Thank you very much. If you like this, please subscribe, write me in comments. I'll try to make it in Hindi and English both. And मैं कोशिश करूँगा कि मैं अपने डिस्कशंस को, अपने लेक्चर्स को बहुत ही सरल तरीके से समझाने की कोशिश में आपको समझा सकूं, और ये उन सब के लिए बड़ा इम्पॉर्टेंट होगा जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं लॉ के हैं या सोशियोलॉजी के हैं, इनको समझने में, उनको करने में। और अगर आप इनको 15-20 मिनट सुनते हैं तो आपको बेसिक चीज़ें आपके कंठस्थ हो जाती हैं, आपको याद हो जाती हैं, आपके जहन में वो आ जाती हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच वंस अगेन।